Vivek Ramaswamy and Steven Crowder sat down to talk about nationalism and immigration, and the exchange was pretty epic. Take a look at this clip.
That, but I will tell you this, my frustration is everyone in the Republican Party, save for you and maybe Donald Trump, it's a white guilt thing. They feel they can't say English because people say, do you mean white? And they go, no. And they're pussies.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to know what the one nation is that's spoken in other countries? Low-end language is spoken in India is English.
Yeah.
So why should we worry about that in the United States of America when actually that creates coherence in our nation? And so here's what I'll say is no excuses for anybody anymore. If you have your own convictions, speak your mind in the open, actually start standing for it. Don't assume it's somebody else's responsibility, and don't make excuses for yourself for not doing it either. Now, I'm going to make 2 points here relating to ethnic pride and nationalism. Look, I think it's weird that every other ethnicity other than the white ethnicity can take pride in their ethnic heritage. But if white people or people of a WASP variety or whatever take just pride, not denigration of anybody else, but pride in their own ethnic heritage,
sure,
that's deemed racist. I think that's weird. But I think it's insufficient to just stop there. I think what we're actually missing is why doesn't everybody actually start taking pride in the American civic heritage, right? So this is the way I don't want to see us go. I think it's great. The reactionary point is to make an observation that's true. It's super bizarre and weird and hypocritical and illogical and inconsistent for every ethnicity except for one subset of ethnicities based on the shade of your tan, which if it's light, a shade of your tan, you can't actually take pride in your own ethnic heritage. Now, I think that's weird and I think it's wrong. But then if we go the direction of just letting that reaction guide us and say, yeah, I want white pride, and somebody else, I want black pride,
right,
actually we're missing the whole point, which is we should have a shared conviction in American pride, which is what we've lost. And so that's, I think, what I see in the conservative movement right now, Stephen, is I think the left, say what you will about them, they will offer a coherent vision, right? There's oppressors and oppressed. They're good at offering a state of emergency, whether it's the end of COVID-19 or climate change. If you don't get it right by then, we're done. And we have fallen into the trap of just stopping. We need some of this to light the spark. It's a means to an end, as you said. But we fall into the trap of just making this as an end in ourselves to play whack-a-mole against the other side versus remembering what we're fighting for. And it's what's represented by that flag behind you and the flag behind me.
Yes.
And I think that conservative movement has grown lazy. And unless we learn from that, I worry we're going to have the red wave that never came in 2024, just like we did in 2022. And that's not up to the left. That's up to us. And I think that's something we haven't yet done.
Yeah, I completely.
So what Vivek Ramaswamy is saying at the end of this about politics being reactionary is the most important part. And it's the most important part for Republicans going into 2024. U.S. politics, but especially for the Republican Party, is so reactionary, and it's been reactionary for so long now. That's part of the reason why Democrats have been so successful in the last 10 years, despite literally not believing in objective truths like men are men and women are women. Democrats are winning in a lot of states, and that red wave that was supposed to happen in 2020, it didn't happen. And the reason why is because Republicans are being reactionary rather than actually providing a vision like Democrats are providing. And again, that vision from the Democrats is evil and it's wrong, but Republicans can't just react. So when you have an influx, for example, of immigrants coming to your country, it's not enough to be reactionary, more like how Steven Crowder was being, and just be like, they need to learn English. This is a crisis when you have tons of people coming into your country and they're not being assimilated in your native tongue, which I totally agree with. However, that's not a great selling point with Americans. It's far better to actually have a vision for what you want those immigrants to have, which is that they need to be America first and that their primary loyalty needs to be to their country. And when I say primary loyalty, I'm saying that they can have other loyalties, but I'm talking about like family, religion. Those loyalties are important. When it comes to a country, their only loyalty should be to America. And with that, we are an English-speaking country and they should learn English. That's not to say that they can't still speak their language. I think that's totally fine. I don't know if Steven Crowder would agree with that. I think Vivek Ramaswamy probably would. But for all the talk that Democrats have about immigrants struggling to make it in America, you know the number one thing that's going to help you succeed in America? Learning English. And so it's really important to encourage those immigrants coming into America to not only learn English themselves, but to encourage their kid to make English their first language. And then, of course, if they want to, learn another language that, maybe if they came from Mexico, if they need to learn Spanish, I think that's totally fine, especially so they can communicate with maybe their family that's still in Mexico. But make no mistake, English should be their first language. And that's for the benefit of the nation as much as it's a benefit for them. But what Vivek Ramaswamy is saying is that has to come from actual vision and the Republican Party actually saying, hey, the reason why this needs to happen is because it is better for the immigrant and better for the nation, rather than just saying, oh yeah, they have to learn English. That's reactionary. That's not actually a vision, and it's not going to get people on board. When you actually have a vision, not only will the immigrants start voting Republican, but the actual citizens that are more pro-immigrant, which there is a decently large portion of in the United States, a lot of them are independents, are going to vote Republican a lot more as well. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody, if you got just a little bit of value or entertainment, go down below, comment your thoughts on immigration, learning English and all of that, and stay tuned for the next video.